And once again, I'd like to welcome everybody back to the Buffalo History Channel for more content for our fall 2023 season. Here we have another episode of the Soul of Buffalo TV series right here on the Buffalo History Channel. Very special guest today. If you were watching in the summer, you might recognize her from the video we had on hot fashions on Buffalo Public Access. This young lady's made a number of cameo appearances back in the day during the BCAM era of the early 1990s of Buffalo Public Access Television. And she's going to give us some reflections as well as how she took her career further from the Buffalo area. I'm very happy to welcome Brittny Shay to the Buffalo History Channel. Welcome, Brittny.
Hey, Doug, thanks. You called me young lady. I love it. I'm loving this already.
Hey, there you go. There you go. We all still holding on, right?
I'm trying.
There we go.
63 and holding, I'm telling you.
63 where? Come on.
I'm loving it, though. I'm loving it.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it's really great. I appreciate you having me on. It's, been quite of a ride, and I always look back at my days when I started there in public access, because that's what gave me my start, and I was able to take it from there. And I'm really grateful, and I love what you're doing. So
okay, well, let's start from the beginning. What got you on public access? What were you doing before then?
Well, as you probably remember, I was singing with a number of area bands. I had some bands of my own as well. And Curtis Black and LCH Roberson from Rhythm and Blues Review. They came and saw me one night when I was performing, and they approached me when I was on break and gave me a business card. And me being me, I was just a little bit skeptical. I'm like, anybody can make up a business card.
Who these dudes, right?
Yeah. But I've always been of the mindset, and still am today, as long as it doesn't cost me anything but time, I always look into it. So I met with them a few weeks later, and they were legit, and they had this show, and they invited me to be a co-host on there, and the rest was history. It was great.
Okay, so we've seen you on something. We had Curtis and LCH on back during the spring season. We were highlighting Soul of Buffalo TV as well as Legends of Buffalo Radio, and we saw some clips of you in there. We saw you in there with some of the crew, J. Ray and Cornelius Bennett and everybody. So what was it? Take us back to being on the Rhythm and Blues Review. What was that experience like with those guys?
Oh, it was great. Curtis and LCH, as you know, they're just a great couple of guys. They're amazing. Very humble. They're great to work with. They were just a lot of fun. And I got to interview a lot of really cool people, Regina Bell and the Shy Lights, the Dramatics. The Dramatics were really dramatic, but it was just a lot of fun. And I also got to learn about the backside of TV production. So I took some courses at the public access station. So I learned about camera work and lighting, and again, was able to take it from there. So when I left Buffalo, I was able to continue to learn and worked for Time Warner Cable, and I did a show called Community Access there, and then worked for Clear Channel, which before that was Entercom and Sinclair. You know how it is.
Yeah.
It's like, who do we work for this week, because stations keep getting bought out, but it is a great time.
So what was the so before you worked on the Rhythm and Blues Review? What was it like to take some of those classes at 101 LaSalle Avenue?
Oh, it was great. It was a lot of fun, and it really helps you in front of the camera too. As you know, you do it all.
Yeah.
So when you know the back of the camera, it makes you more comfortable and understand, the whole dynamics of being in front of the camera. So it was a great time.
Okay. Now we also saw you on the Hot Fashions TV
Yeah,
show that we highlighted here on the Buffalo History Channel. You co-hosted that show with another pioneer and legend of Buffalo Public Access, Cal Pendleton. What
right.
was he like? What was he like to work with?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. There again, everybody in public access was just so laid back and makes you feel comfortable working with them. Because, being that new to being in front of it, I wasn't new to being in front of people, being on stage, but a completely different ball of wax when you're in front of a camera and you have lights and all these other things that are going on. But he, as well as, everyone else, David Allen, and like I said, LCH and Curtis, they always made you feel comfortable. And it wasn't even like being in front of a camera. It was like being with family.
And
And
so,
still in touch with them today, through Facebook. I love Facebook. We lost touch for a while and caught up again. So I know they're still doing great things and they're still out there doing their thing.
so you left the city of Buffalo, and you got into television. How did you make that? What was it like to make that transition from public access to actually broadcast television?
Um, it was a lot of pressure, but again, I had the foundation.
Hmm.
So, it was a lot more comfortable than if I just, showed up and said, I want to be on TV.
Right,
I
right,
had that strong foundation. And again, because I had the production end of things, that's what really helped a lot because the show I did, when I left Buffalo initially, I went to Charlotte, North Carolina, and that's where I worked for Time Warner. And being able to do all the production end of
right.
things, that was a huge, huge help.
Awesome, awesome. So any so did you when you worked on television out there in not my goodness, California, in Charlotte, North Carolina, were there anything that was memorable to you? Any type of stories that you covered that sticks out to you?
We just did a lot of community access. One of the things that I really enjoyed was a segment I did called Pets on Parade. I don't
Okay.
know if a lot of people know this. I know, people that know me well know that I love animals.
Hmm.
But this was not just dogs and cats. This was snakes and and hedgehogs and all that. So I had a lot of fun doing that. Also, because experiencing live TV, I actually had a snake caught in my hair,
Oh my goodness.
and there was nothing I could do because it was live, and I had part of my hair up, so it's kind of intertwined,
Yeah.
and all you saw was his head, kind of talk, and the tail kept like going right by my mouth, and I'm just like, all right, the wonders of live TV.
Yeah.
But that was a lot of fun. Then when I lived in Louisiana, yeah, I covered a lot of really serious topics, especially there. You may have remembered the South Louisiana serial killer. Derek Toddley, he was accused of killing, I believe it was like 46, 47 women. So that was a whole different experience, a world away from music and fun, lighthearted stuff. So I've kind of done it all from one end of the spectrum to the other.
Okay. And what are you involved with right now?
Well, for the last 20 years, because after I left Louisiana, due to Hurricane Katrina, I moved back up north and was told I was too old to be in TV anymore. Go figure.
Wow.
Yes, and I was in my 40s at that time. So after I, got through being angry and kicking rocks,
They've told people that in their 30s and sometimes in their late 20s.
absolutely,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah, that's
So, I had to reinvent myself like a lot of people do. And that's when I found the wonderful world of senior care. So for approximately 20 years, I've been doing that, working with seniors. Now I have to say I'm working with my peers because I'm one of them. But I was
mm,
running assisted livings and things like that. And now I am trying to revert back to my childhood
Okay.
and go back into broadcasting if I can. And recently started an Instagram account where I encourage people our age and younger to get off of that divot that they created in the sofa and keep moving. So I do a segment on there called Out of the Zone, where I
Okay.
tell people just get out of your comfort zone, try different things, or things you haven't done in a while. You might surprise yourself. You know, one of the things I always say is if you're always doing what's easy, you're never going to find out what you're truly capable of. So if you go on my Instagram, it's Brittny, spelled BRITTNY underscore Shay, SHAY underscore motivation. And you'll see me doing things like rock climbing and riding motorcycles. A lot of people don't realize I've had my motorcycle endorsement for about 20 years. So when people see me doing these things, they're like, what are you doing? But I'm having a lot of fun. Tried paddle boarding for the first time, which was fun until I heard a gator splash in the water. I'm like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't have those in Buffalo. I'm like, okay. But that's kind of what I'm doing now, trying to, get back into broadcasting, do some voiceover work or whatever comes my way.
Well, social media now is like a whole open world now. So there's plenty of opportunities that many of us can create for ourselves now. Somewhat similar to public access, but just a little bit more advanced today with a lot more resources.
Absolutely. We didn't have all this when when you and I started out. We had
Yeah.
to grind.
I try
There's
to
always
tell I
the
try to
grind.
I try to tell people it was a whole different world back then. That was before the advent of social media. I mean, the internet was around, but it wasn't full circle like it is today.
Right, right. Thank goodness.
Yeah, and on a lot of levels. Thank
Yeah. Because it to me, I feel that the young people now are shortchanged because people like you and I, we had to learn those skills back then. And we're not going to ever lose that skill that we had to do back then with the cameras and the lighting and all this. Now everything is so instant, and you just, buy the little circular light and flip it on, and your camera and your
Yes.
phone does everything for you.
Hmm.
So, but to me, if your phone breaks, you and I still know how to use regular cameras
That's right. That's
and
right.
how to do all that. So, but different world, and you adapt, and it's all good. Well, you keep up the great work. I look forward to your future endeavors and watching your videos and seeing what comes out of you next.
All righty. And we're looking forward to the same from you, Brittany.
Thanks. And thank you so much for having me on.
All right. Remember to check her out on Instagram, Brittny Shay Motivation.
Thanks, Doug.
All right.